Hey there, welcome back. Today we're going to be starting in on some maintenance. I don't know how much I'm going to get done tonight because I have a lot to do. I'm hoping I can get at least through the backyard before I have to head in for dinner. And just depending on how much I get done, we may have to finish up tomorrow evening. I'm kind of limited to evenings right now because we do have Vacation Bible School going on at our church. So I'm gone in the morning through middle of the day, and then, afternoon and stuff is, I don't know, all the things. So evening is kind of the only time I have right now to get things done. And right now there is a lot to be done. We were out of town and I came back and it just felt like so many things were done. So many things needed to be deadheaded. So many things needed to be cleaned up. And so I've been just really itching to get out and do this. And so now is the time. So I'm going to turn you around. We're just going to talk quickly about some of the things that we're going to be doing back here. And then I'm just going to plow through it and see how much I can get done before my Instant Pot dinner is ready. Okay, so we're going to start out right here. I'm going to be clipping back a lot of the hardy geranium. I'm going to be clipping back some of the ladies' mantle that's right here. Really quick though, let me show you. This beautiful hydrangea is starting to bloom. This is the one that's right here on my back walk. Doesn't have too many flowers on it, but I get excited whenever it does bloom. But anyways, that's not our focus right now. We're just going to be working on cutting back some of this stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do anything with the lamb's ear right now. My main focus is going to be cutting back my spirea, basically deadheading it, but it does involve basically just cutting quite a bit of it back, and then also cutting back the foxglove. So as you can see, as I go up this long stalk of foxglove, it is spent all the way up to the top of the stalk. And even these little shoots that are coming off the side, these ones are done. These are going to start drying up really soon and letting off all their seeds, and I don't really want them to do that. You can see this one right here is already opening up. And so, gosh, so consequently, you can see all those seeds that are coming out. Those are all going to be baby foxglove. So I'm going to try to do this very carefully and hopefully just fall these basically right onto my tarp here so that I'm not spreading as many seeds or preventing as many seeds as I can possibly prevent from being just spread around. So for the most part, I'm actually just going to take these all the way down to the bottom. And then if there are foxglove in places that I don't want them, such as over here in this garden, you can see this one right here. It's kind of growing up in a weird place. Ones like that, I'll just go ahead and pull out. I don't mind letting them bloom if that's where they are and they're doing okay. I don't mind letting them bloom, but at this point I will probably pull that one out because I don't really want it to be blooming there. So again, here's another spirea. There's quite a few throughout this back garden. I also have some Spanish lavender that I want to get cut back. I think that's pretty much it in the backyard. Oh, actually there are some hardy geraniums in the back area back here. All of these guys right here. So this one is the Bayakova, I believe is this variety. And then over here we have some of the Carmina. And these are really easy to deadhead because you just can pull the stalks off. So those actually go pretty quick. I did some the other day when I was standing here watering, but I didn't do the whole thing. So these are really easy to clean up. I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna get those ones done as well. I also really should get this rose deadheaded. It has been, I guess, patiently waiting for me to do that. So that is also something that I really should get done here in the back. So basically, yeah, so foxglove, spirea, this rose, some hardy geranium. Yeah, let's just get after it. Okay, so I already had to go in and have dinner, so I didn't get quite as much done initially as I hoped to. But let me just show you really quick what we have accomplished, and then we'll move on to the rest of the backyard, which I think is probably all I'm going to get done tonight because it's quite overcast and it's already getting kind of dark. So really quick, let's just look at where we've been. Basically starting out right here on this path. As you can see, I cut back these hardy geranium pretty hard. We did that this earlier, I don't know how long ago it was, to these ones along the pathway here, and they've already pushed out all their new growth and are looking really nice and pretty. So hopefully these ones will have a chance. I still have some cleaning up to do, but I'm not gonna worry too much about that other than just using the blower a little bit. So cut these ones back really hard all the way to the ground. All of these along here, they were really laying down on the lungwort that's there, and so I kind of wanted to lift that up a little bit more dramatically, so hopefully those could get some light. So as you can see, still lots more cleanup to do. I should come in here with a rake and maybe even hose all of this area down. So I did also have to take out and take after quite a bit of blackberry vines that were coming through here pretty obnoxiously. I really need to go back behind that fence and just spray them and clean them out as best I can. So I did take after another hardy geranium that was right there as well. And then came over here and took after the Spirea that's right here. This one's not quite out of bloom yet, still has some pretty pink color on it, so I didn't do anything with that one, but this one was totally done. So I just cut off, I don't know if you could quite tell, but I mean, that's probably a good 18 inches to 2 feet in some spots. This one will take a lot harder of a shear at the beginning or the end of winter, basically very early spring. I can cut this one down like 18 inches from the ground. Pretty much all the Spirea can handle that, even possibly further than that. So at this time of the year, though, I just basically, as you saw, just kind of sheared it back a little bit, and it'll push new growth and very well may give me a second flush of blooms later on in the summer. So I also took after this hardy geranium that was right here. Again, cut it just all the way down to the ground. That you can see there's already some new growth in there, but with as little as I water in the summer at this time of the year, pretty unlikely that I'll get a ton of new growth. Possibly towards the end of summer into fall, it'll push more growth. But for right now, it's basically just really cleaning it up, and so the area looks a little bit more tidy. So now I think I'm going to go over into this back area over here and just really take after the foxgloves that are in here. I have a couple of the Spanish lavender in here, and then also the hardy geranium that are up on the other side of the pathway. These ones have all already released on the bottom, so I have lots of little foxglove babies coming up right here in this path. Try to cut it very gently. I do love foxglove in my gardens, but I don't want them everywhere, so I'm trying to not let the seeds just go crazy. I'll show you. There's just millions come out, I think, of each foxglove stalk. All right, I just finished up everything in the backyard, and as you can tell, obviously it is the next day. Last night I was gonna work and work and work, and then my phone ran out of battery, so I had to stop videoing, which was fine because it was actually getting pretty dark pretty quickly since we had lots of clouds come in and ended up having some rain, which was great. But anyway, so yes, today is a new day, and I just finished up working basically all throughout the backyard. At first, yesterday when I set out, I thought I'm gonna do the foxglove and I'm gonna do the spirea in the entire garden, front and back. And then I decided, why do that? Why not just sweep through the entire backyard and get everything deadheaded that needed to be done? So that's what I did. And one thing I learned last night about myself in the garden is that I don't really like to rush. I was trying to go quickly last night. I was trying to just to, like I said last night, just plow through, get it done. But I don't really like doing that. I like to kind of just take my time and meander and just, I don't know, enjoy myself. So anyway, I got to do that a little bit better today as I worked through the gardens. It's a little bit cooler today. A beautiful, beautiful day after, like I said, after we got some rain. So anyway, before we start walking through and looking at all the stuff that we got cut back, I really wanted to show you the seeds that we basically saved from spreading all throughout the garden from the foxglove. So as you may have noticed, I was dropping all my debris onto this tarp. It's a really neat one. It has handles, it velcros together, so it becomes basically a bag, which is really easy for transporting stuff. But let me just move this across and see if we can see. So can you see all these tiny, these are all the foxglove seeds. Right here you can see all of these foxglove. Oh, look at, praying mantis baby. Can you see him? There he goes. Oh man, I wonder how many more I have in this pile. You see him? So cool. Those guys are so good in the garden. They eat so many bad insects. But anyway, yeah, you can see all those little itty bitty seeds. Those are from the foxglove. There's probably some black ones in here too. Those are from the rose campion. I did pull out some of those as well. These ones, these are just, I think, chaff from the spirea. But anyway, just in those, I don't know, maybe 5 foxglove plants, so maybe, I don't know, 15 stalks or so, there was literally thousands of seeds. So if I didn't carefully lay them onto here, all of those would have been throughout the garden. And in my garden here in Western Oregon, zone 8B, there's just something about it that those foxglove would have all sprouted and I would have had a lot of weeding to do. So anyway, glad to have those done. It looks a lot nicer. So let's just look at what we did last evening. We talked a little bit about some of it already earlier. Let's just look at what we did last night and then all the things that we did today. Okay, so pardon our light. We do have a lot of clouds coming in and out, so the light may change, but basically right here is where we kind of started, I believe, with taking out some foxglove up through here. We also deadheaded these spirea, and like I said last night, all I'd really do for most of my spirea is take a chunk and cut. You can see there's not too much rhyme or reason, I guess, to where I cut other than basically size control. I don't worry about hitting a leaf or getting down to a certain node or anything like that on the spirea. There's just so many of them in my gardens that that's just kind of how I do it mid-season. So I also did some of the Spanish lavender right here, and coming up this way we got the hardy geraniums done right here. Now on these ones and also these ones around the corner, I was able to, like you saw, hopefully just pull the stalks off. Basically, they're super, super easy to remove. That's not always the case with every single variety. But yeah, see these ones just pull right off. That's not the same with every single variety. There's some down here, I believe they're the New Hampshire variety, that I can't do that with. I just have to basically cut them back. So anyway, those look a lot better right here with all of their spent stalks taken off, and now you can just see the sweet foliage that's still looking pretty good down here along the ground. I also took after this new Spanish lavender that we planted in earlier this spring and just cut off all of the spent blooms as best I could there, just to kind of create a more dense mound just for moving forward, so that would continue in that growth habit. Also cut down this Veronica, and this one I did notice I was being a little bit careful on this. I don't know if you can see, but there's some little baby ones already coming on. So if I did notice, like right here, can you see those little babies on the side? I did just carefully cut those ones back. I was a little bit more, this is a good one, you can see there's two. Hopefully you can see that. There's two on either side. So those ones I was a little bit more careful with in deadheading those, so that we could get hopefully a second flush of those blooms. So I also took after this climbing rose. This is a New Dawn climbing rose. And this one was interesting too. I don't know if this is right to do, but you know, basically when you're deadheading roses or cutting them back, you want to think about where you're cutting them because of where the new growth will come out. So generally, I would want to cut down to right here so that the branch would come out above this leaf section and move away from the plant. But because this is a climbing rose and because I want it to come towards the arbor there, I thought, well, maybe I would prune them so that they go the other way, so that this branch would then grow towards the arbor. I don't know if that's right. I didn't do that on every single one of them, but like this one, you can see here, I took it down to right here so that the new branch will come out of right here and hopefully come towards the arbor, rather than taking it down to here and having the branch go away from the arbor. So I don't know if you guys know better than I do, maybe about, you know, how to actually prune climbing roses. You can let me know if that was a bad idea or not, and moving forward I can do it correctly. But anyway, it looks a lot better, and possibly we'll get a second flush of blooms on that guy. So coming down here, I did just prune some more. I pruned some really not good looking scabiosa. These are quite dry and they have powdery mildew on them. So cut those all the way back to the ground. And then also cut back the spent blooms on the blue kazoo spirea that was right there. And on these hardy geraniums right here, these are the New Hampshire ones. These ones I cut all the way back. They were getting really, really leggy, done blooming, but really, really leggy mostly. So I just cut those ones all the way back to the ground. They don't prune the same as the Byakovo ones by just pulling out the spent bloom stalks. So coming along here, these still had a lot of color on them, and I was also seeing they still had some buds coming on. So I didn't prune these two Spanish lavender. But coming down into this garden along the dry creek bed, I was careful. Well, left some, I guess, on here, but there's a lot of Spirea along here that actually seeded itself. And any plant that seeds itself, such as this is another of the New Hampshire hardy geranium, and then this hardy geranium right here, which has a much bigger leaf. I always forget what this one is called, but it has the pink flowers. These ones seed themselves, and I've had some version of my Spirea seed itself all along this bed, as well as rose campion. But this one is a Spirea. This is a Spirea that reseeded itself. So these I am very careful to make sure that I do deadhead, cut them back, because I don't want them to continue just to seed themselves everywhere. So I worked on those a little bit, cutting these back, as well as there's a Spirea down there, this one right here also, and took after this rose campion. Here's one of the Spanish lavenders that we did. Pile. And then coming around here, we also did these Nepeta. I might take these Nepeta out. I purchased some new ones that I might replace these with. These ones just always really look, I don't know, the leaves are always very mottled and they look just kind of messy. So I might replace those ones, but in the meantime, I did just cut them all the way back, and you can see they each have the new growth in there already coming out. This one's a little bit further along, but you can see like this is what the new leaves even look like pretty much right away. I don't know what causes that damage, but I don't know. They don't look they don't look totally great to me all the time. So maybe replacing those. But then along here, let's see. I took after this Spirea. This is one of the Proven Winners ones that should be blooming again. It doesn't have any new growth on it yet, but I think now that it's been cut back, it'll start throwing out the new growth. But like this one over here, this one is just also a seedling that started here, and I was careful to prune this one a little bit more intentionally because it did have a bunch of new growth already on it. So you can see I was trying to just take the spent stalks off, or the spent blooms off, just right above where new growth was. I could just take this one back really hard, but I'll just do that at another time in the season to reshape it, resize it. But for now, it already had, you can see it already had a lot of new growth coming on. So I wanted to give that stuff a chance. And that was kind of the same with these, I think that's Pink Princess Spanish Lavender. This one I just kind of started whacking at. And then this one I started to notice, well, there's a bunch of little babies that are wanting to come on and bloom. So I started to be a lot more careful with how I was pruning that one. And then this one was quite a bit smaller. So I was actually just like individually pruning off the tops of that one. So hopefully we'll get a nice flush of blooms from each of those. We'll see. It'll be a progression. We'll see if I get the same amount of blooms off of each 3 of these. So that is a look at all the things that we pruned back today, and it feels really good to have just tackled that, to have gotten after it. It's just, you know, the things just kind of accumulate of what needs to be done, and it feels really good to just get out and take care of them and tackle them. And the garden looks dry, even though we did get, like I said, a little bit of rain. It was enough to just kind of rinse things off. I feel like it didn't penetrate into the soil at all. But even with that little bit of rain, it looks pretty dry out here. So it really helps to get off the dead, spent flowers, because those really make things look a lot more dry, you know, with the brown flowers and stuff like that. So that feels a lot better. And I also feel a lot better getting some of the foxglove cut down, because it's really going to start spreading that seed quickly, which I'm standing here looking at my front yard, which has probably 5 times, 10 times as many foxgloves. So we really need to get after that very, very quickly. So that will be most likely our next video. So anyways, so thanks for hanging out with me today while I did this maintenance in the backyard. Hopefully it inspires you and motivates you to get out and do the same in your yard. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one.